paper cutter and lapel chokes on the neck to get them to think about something else. I'll show you in a second. It'll be a good lead-in for tomorrow. So here's a couple things for you. One, do like see your back. I'm a big fan of grip fighting. Like I like love grip fighting. It's weird, but like it's fun sometimes to roll with people and just not even do anything, but see if I can just stop their grips. Because if you can't, I mean, what he did to me. Well, it's like a fun thing. That's exactly what he did to me. So like, not let me put my grip on. So like, if I roll sometimes with like my guys at home, like sometimes like if I have a newer guy, I'm like, I'm not even gonna go after the kill. I'm just gonna see if I can like do some voodoo on him and he can't touch my grips. Because that builds up that ability to hand fight without thinking. I mean, that works its way up. But one of the things that's really important when you're grip fighting, so a couple of times I would attack the neck. A lot of you guys would do this. Not bad, right? But the thing about it is the further up you go up towards the body, the stronger these muscles get, the harder it is. The further away you get, the weaker it becomes, right? I'll go for 1 second here. Stand up with you. So there's a couple of examples of this, but just real simple. It's just like this. He holds his arm out, okay? Keep your arm up as hard as you can, right? If I go closer to the shoulder, to the body, if I start to pull down, you can keep it up relatively. The further out I go, especially if I get to the end, keep your arms up as hard as you can. He's not going to be able to do it. Now, see, it's okay, it's an idea, right? It happens a lot. I use it with half guard stuff, but here, if I get up here and he's got under my neck, I'm like this, I'm working my way up here. I like to get down here. And if I can get it, I like to put my hand on the inside of this person's grip here. It's a simple idea. Even if he gets into my collar, I'll get my hands wedged in here and break, opposed to trying to break off the wrist. Same thing here. If he gets here, if he tries to pull his arm up, like he's not going to get that. But if I get up here and I pull him down, if he starts to pull his arm up, he's going to win that battle. So if you ever get someone under your neck here, like especially just like choke something, don't grab here. Try to get up into the inside of their palm. We're not grabbing fingers, I'm not breaking fingers. I'm just getting into the meat of the hands. Even if you think about him when he's fighting from the back now, right? A really strong grip for him would be to get my knife hand here, like right down here and pull in. Because now I can't force out of that. If he goes to the forearm, straight to, but down here, he's at the end, he's flipping my hand. I cannot get out of that very easily. I usually have to have another one. So just a little detail, okay? You get caught in a choke. Another one that may be of some use to you, and we're gonna talk about this more tomorrow with the guard passing. So if you wanna be a heavy person on top, regardless of like how much you weigh, you just wanna make the maximum amount of your weight, right? A couple details, obviously, less weight on the mat, and you can do this every single day you train. If your coach is ever doing like side control stuff, you know, like when you get into side control, like right now, I can just be aware of where my body weight is. I'm pretty heavy on my knees. But if I just slightly lift my knees up, just like barely, you can barely see it, and I arch my back into the position is heavier. Okay, so that's one. Be conscious of where your weight is. A lot of times, like in yoga, like, you know, you go to a yoga class, if you've ever been, has anybody been to a yoga class before? You know, they might tell you like, be mindful of where your hips are in the ground and stuff like that, right? That kind of thing, with that soothing voice. Same thing there. When you're sitting there like, where do I feel the pressure pushing back? Do I feel it in my chest pushing down to him, or am I heavy on the mat? Something real simple, okay? But another thing is the sweet spot. I was telling you a couple of you guys about that. A couple of you guys were like, oh, this sucks, right? So the sweet spot is right where the rib cage tapers down. There's like a fist right about there, right? So below you've got the strong abdominal muscles there that can really take a lot of punishment, right? Up top you got this rib cage. Right there, right there. If you put a lot of pressure in there, you can really generate some super power, right? So when you go in your back, like, if I'm coming in with my shoulders. So a lot of passes involve the shoulder dipping down. I call these spike pressure. So I think of like, if you like watch 80s pro wrestling, what is it? The Road Warriors. Yeah, the Road Warriors. You know, the big shoulder pads, right? So I think about just coming in right here and we're driving that shoulder in and we're aiming into a point there. But even in your side control, as I'm switching around back and forth in side control, I have most of my weight pushing into him there. If I go to like sort of that modified case katami that we use, I'll slide my body down so my ribs are pushing in, okay? Because I don't want to sit here. There's nothing on. But if I put my ribs right in there, because now if I'm here like this, I'm heavy. Same thing if I switch it and go to reverse. Okay, so that's a simple detail, so we'll talk about that more, but the sweet spot's right there in the center, right where the rib cage tapers down to soft spot. And then one more thing for pressure is where your chest faces, that's where the pressure is going to be. I remember I was training with JT and JT Torres, and he was like using that cue, and it just makes sense. Like, here's an example. If I get to Case Katami here, right, and I lay back, nothing on him, right? He can like kick his legs up and throw me over like around. Whereas if I'm leaning in, where my chest is facing now, it's all in him. Same thing here. You know, if I'm up like going to this reverse position, I'm up here, there's nothing on. If I lean in and actually actively crunch it and focus my pressure down and put my chest into them, there's gonna be pressure. So when you're in some of those positions, if you use them, really focus on keeping your chest facing that person, and it's an active position. You're not like hanging out, relaxing. You're actively like crunching into them. Because again, you got to think that's a finishing position, right? We don't want to lose that. So you know, you fought super hard passing the guard or getting a sweep or whatever to get there. You need to be latched onto that person to make sure you don't lose a position. Obviously, unless you're playing, right? You're just kind of messing around, give them some space. But otherwise, you want to be latched into that position because that's where you're going to do your finishing, right? And so it's not a very casual position. So you want to be mindful of how much pressure you're putting onto them. Where's the pressure in your body? And then again, are you facing them, really putting pressure, and is your body sort of like tensed up and active, or are you just kind of leaning back and just kind of laying on the person and breathing? So just a couple ideas, some things that I saw while we were moving around.